Hello and welcome to the Rope Access and Climbing Podcast. This is your host, Mikey Stevenson, and today we're going to be talking with Dirk Dorenbos about professional development and Rope's Edge, his company on rope protection. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. Also, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast, please don't forget to follow us. All right, so I guess we'll start out with some introductions. Who are you? What's your name? Where are you from? And what's your profession? What do you do?
Yeah, Mikey, thanks, man. Name is Dirk Dorenbos. My profession is, I'm kind of a rope access guy. I've been doing it for a number of years and live in Cochrane, Alberta, kind of assessing around Western Canada for the IRATA system, training both Sprat and IRATA. Started doing rope access in 1999, 2000 over in the UK, lived there for a couple of years. Came back to Canada and started with a small company and just been doing it ever since. Kind of bit passionate about what I do. I really enjoy it. So that's kind of me.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Um, so you are an IRATA instructor and assessor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your assessments or as an assessor, you see different skill sets, different skill levels among each level, level one, two, and three. Um, Now, talking about professional development and stuff, do you think that professional development training is valuable in rope access?
100%. Yeah. I like, most rope access systems, you recertify every 3 years. And in between levels when you're leveling up, it's the onus is put on you for the most part. To take on the mentoring from their upper levels, to do the research and development yourself, develop yourself as an individual in your profession. As far as required, professional development, I think there's be a lot of value in it. Where it lies as to who pays for that, I don't really know, but yeah, I think there's a ton of value in it. Between levels, we recertify every 3 years. So what that means is basically, you're essentially not doing any updating, any refresher, any just refamiliarization of some of the skills that you learned, say 2.5 years ago, and the last time you did it. So there's a long period of time in between there. I think there's a lot of value in it. Some training member companies, some Sprat and Errata in the rope access community anyway, put out a lot of they do these open gym nights, which are super good. But the truth of the matter, truth be told, most people, most technicians, don't take advantage of those things, except for guys like you or me, Mike. We're a little bit of rope geeks. We really enjoy being on rope. Most people do, if you're getting into this trade. But doing that CPD, that professional development on those open gym nights, lots of value, because then you're refreshing, you're familiarizing yourself with the work that you do. Say you're 2.5 years in, you're a brand new level 3 2.5 years ago. The last time you did a large re-anchor rescue, a rope to rope rescue, passing knots, is a very long time ago. That familiarization, those steps, that procedure might not be fresh in your brain. Like it would be if you're ongoing doing hands-on rescues, like you do in training and assessment. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of value in it. There's definitely room for improvement there. Mm-hmm.
Do you think professional development training in rope access would help out with the inconsistency between levels?
I do. Yeah. What do you mean by inconsistency between levels?
Well, for an individual going from their one to two or two to three, I, as an instructor, found there is a very large inconsistency between each individual that comes through, depending on if the individual has a lot of mentoring or a lack thereof. Do you think this professional development, doing preparation courses per se, would better prepare somebody for that next level?
Yeah, 100%. And currently, as we're kind of identifying here, the onus is almost primarily on the technician themselves. You or me or anybody recertifying or leveling up, it's up to us. Uh, I know you as a trainer, you've seen it 1,000 times. You got guys and girls coming into the Monday morning and they're leveling up from one to two. 2 to 3, or even recerting their 3, and the last time they've done something is 3 years ago, or 3 years and 2 months because they're out of date or something like that. So a good amount of time, when the requirement for the most part is to come in at the very least with a minimum knowledge and understanding of the level that you're at. Oftentimes what happens, we have people coming in on Monday morning, we've got to do everything that at a level 2 to become a level 3. So that time is burnt up. If there was some sort of a CPD, some sort of continued professional development program in place, these people would be forced to have that. But again, who pays for that? I don't really know. Yeah.
But do you think that organizations should mandate this sort of training? I know that the ACMG and the CAA and other organizations throughout the world mandate it for their membership, but in Rope Access, this is not currently the case.
Yeah, it was told to me once a little while ago, back on an AGM or some conference, and some of the things that we do in any organization, whether it's ACMG to IRATA to SPRAT or CAA, anything, it's generally a small kick at the can as we learn, as we evolve as an association. So I think it'll come. Even you and me have experienced, the assessor instructor workshops that we're required to do annually. Myself as an assessor, currently, there's a brand new requirement to do a CPD test annually now. There wasn't before, and I've been doing this since 2014 as an assessor. So that's new, so as we evolve as associations, and as we learn about what's best practice, what's better, we generally implement these mandated requirements. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. If we were to start putting stuff together now, not excluding organizations, but people that have the will to put this sort of stuff together, what are the type of discussions that you would like people to touch on, or not necessarily people to touch on, but what kind of seminars would you like to see for technicians to take, or options for them to take?
Yeah, good question. I mean, for like we talked about it previously here a little bit, Mikey, and I think some really good points that you came up with. Like continuing professional development is anything from for the rope access world that you and I come from specifically anyway, continuing, learning about tension lines, angles, deflection, setting knots, those are all the monkey tricks about it all. Really, kind of getting into the properly risk assessing edge management, properly risk assessing or talking about, which one to choose, a soft or a hard piece of edge management, remove, avoid, protect, which should, there's so many talking points that we could really bring into these seminars, or just getting guys and girls together on even these kind of things on Zoom meetings. It'd be fantastic. So it's endless, really, to figure these things out, to see what we could discuss. Anything from the monkey tricks, the rope tricks, the practical skills, to the theoretical skills and knowledge that we've got to have as well.
Yeah. Being an instructor myself, I know that we run into complications with time. Time is something that's never on our side. And especially for a level 3, a brand new level 3, where they have so much additional responsibility and understanding and risk assessing that they have to take on, we just don't have enough time to do a thorough job of teaching all that information in a 4-day course or a 5-day course, where these professional developments, modules, if you will, would really help out and emphasize on specific topics that, individuals would per se not have a lot of time during training to learn.
Yeah, I think that would assist a lot. I mean, being organized on a course and having your syllabus laid out before you get in to your course, like one of the things that I always fought for is level 2s and 3s are very similar between, like a little bit different in risk management, planning and management, a few extra rescues between 2s and 3s. But if we can run courses that are all 2s and 3s, we're kind of organized and we can generally get through the syllabus fairly efficiently. When you have mixed courses, I fully agree with you, Mikey. It's really hard to get all of the instruction, all of the training in to all these different levels at the same time, because
Yeah.
you're really speaking to a varied crew of experience and where they want to get to. So imparting knowledge and being organized in the course is key, of course, but as you're well aware. But yeah, like a CPD, if these guys are coming into these courses a little bit more prepared with some preliminary knowledge, key factor, absolutely. One thing that I used to do, and I don't know if you ever did this, Mikey, but I started to kind of see a hole in the system. So I would preemptively email the technicians that were coming into my course saying, if you're coming in to do your 3, please be proficient at a level 2. You must be. I don't want to waste time training you for level 2 stuff, which you already are on day 1, because we need to be effective in that delivery of the syllabus. So yeah, absolutely. Some preliminary CPD training. Absolutely. Yeah, that would definitely help.
Yeah. Now, we did touch base a little bit, but just a little bit more refined question. But why do you think that there is this lack of professional development in this organization? Not this organization, but in rope access globally.
Yeah, it just, similar to the small kick at the can thing that I gave you a little bit. I think it's just where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just where we are. Why there isn't, we it has to be paid for one. Ownership, like accountability is a lot to do with the mentorship and taking part on your own as a technician. It's your certification. The company doesn't own it. It's yours. So mandating that type of a thing it's a really hard thing to identify.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pay for it, but similar to what I said earlier, as an assessor, I've got to do this thing annually now. As an instructor, you have to do, and it's paid for it. You have to have, there's a fee attached to it. So it's a small kick of the can. That's my, that's why I think we're not there yet. We're just not there, but it's coming. I believe that, between levels, like we said a second ago, 3 years is a very long time to not be using skills, because do the risk assessment, the operations, the training member companies and the operating member companies are building their teams to facilitate a project or a job, and they're building their teams with capable personnel. If you break that down, whether they're a welder level 3, an inspector level 3, or whatever, but they're still running the project, can they still actually facilitate an attended rescue, have the wits about them, because some technicians have different abilities, all right? And if they haven't touched these skills and they squeaked by the skin of their teeth on the assessment day anyway, now take it near 3 years later, can they still actually perform that skill, having not even thought about it for 3 years? Yeah, there's a lot of value in that. So who pays for it? Small kick at the can. I think we're getting there. Hopefully that happens soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like conversations like this, and reaching out to people and having talks and just trying to find where the flaws are to make solutions. And, if that means that we have to, come together and start putting together seminars and putting on seminars to help people out, I think that goes a long way in our industry, because I feel that there is a lot of inconsistency between levels and between the individuals within their levels, that I would like to see that inconsistency kind of balance itself. And I think that these sort of things can help that inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know as well as I do, there's oil and gas pipe rack level 3s. All right. There, one of the requirements for the logbook, there needs to be a breadth of experience, and it's outlined in those words, a breadth of experience. And oftentimes it's just not the case, but they can still perform the skills outlined in as required, but their breadth of experience, they're not going to be able to. The reality is they might not be able to go and jump on a wind turbine because they've been a pipe rack level 3 for a very long time, or jump on a building and understand everything, all the nuances of doing building rope access. It's a very different thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, once again, and that's what we find, especially I like what you're doing here between the different associations and the different, you're talking about climbing and just kind of rope work all together, whether it's in the mountains, rope rescue or rope access, taking it upon yourself to get involved, to educate, go do an artificial higher directional course with some of the US outfits that are doing training all over the world. Just rope handling, rope knowledge altogether, to further your career, to further your understanding of what you're doing out there on rope. Because obviously, in the risk assessment, the likelihood, the severity could be huge, but even the outcome of the severity of any sort of potential incident that could happen on an industrial site, it's just so low. It's highly unlikely. So at being, for the most part, the industry is happy at being at 3 years. But I think, like with further understanding, we could be doing better. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So moving on from the professional development side of the conversation here, and I guess it'll lead into this a little bit more, but you are the founder and developer of Rope's Edge, correct?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
That's you. Awesome. Now, with this, what made you start or kind of dive into the industry of rope protection and develop this?
It was kind of from an end user perspective. Like I've been doing rope access. I've been active in the field for a good long time. I'm mostly doing my own small projects in and around the city in the Bow Valley. I've been, before that, 15 years of, a lot of oil and gas, pulp and paper. I just kind of, from an end user's perspective, from the guy, I'm 47 years old, grading and, a lot of these things are they're heavy, they're bulky, they're hard to use, they need tools. I just wanted, as an end user, a more seamless, streamlined, highly effective piece of equipment to use. And, like that's kind of what started it ultimately as an end user. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of change about the way a lot of technicians think about edge management is just to kind of dive into the conversation of what's actually happening with the rope itself. Is the piece of equipment going to slip on you once you install it and move away? Is it installed properly? Do I need to carry up a tool to install this nuts and bolts type of edge management system, whatever it is? So I don't know, I just saw a hole in the market, and I felt like I could do it better. So that's kind of what spurred it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Myself, I've used them. I've been fortunate enough to get my hands on a set of both the grading edge protector and the tow board edge protector. Use them both in the field, and I can't say enough about them. They're awesome. And now on the site that I have been part of working for the last little over a year, there's not a lot of grading. So when I do have the opportunity to use them, I definitely do bring them out to kind of, do a little bit of an educational moment for the technicians that have never seen them before, never used them. But it definitely fills that gap, and they're lightweight, they're easy to use, and they're toolless. Like that's a huge part. And like you use other different types of grading protectors, and they're big, bulky, heavy. They're, they need tools. They're usually not the easiest to transport either. So these definitely kind of nip all those issues in the butt. And I muchly appreciate what you've done so far.
Yeah, well, thanks for saying so, Mikey. I mean, if you're taking the time, and that's mentorship, isn't it? Whether you're promoting or saying, hey, this one's great, or just you're taking the time to work with your 2s and 3s or your 1s and 2s and identify what's soft edge management, what could be smoke and mirrors over a sharp edge, or perfectly suitable for a rounded edge, or what's just to take the time to mentor and have that discussion with your other technicians on site. That's wicked, man. That's mentoring.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good conversation to be having. But yeah, and that's a big part of what I thought about this stuff too. Thinking about what's actually going on, at the point of entry, what's actually going on. If you're using something else to go through, is there real rope protection here, or is it kind of smoke and mirrors?
Yeah.
Are we using? Are the riggers, the people rigging these ropes, are they using it properly? Is rig for rescue an option? So many different things to really start to think about. But yeah, that mentorship, I think that's great, Mikey.
That mentorship is huge. And it's something that really is lacking in our industry that we've
Generally
found.
speaking, because what happens, we go to work,
Sorry?
we can't really take time to do training or rescues on site.
Yeah.
We should be mentoring and rigging with our ones and twos anyway, but where that happens, but we can't take long periods of time because we're there for a project, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can't spend a whole lot of time mentoring, but we definitely, when we have the opportunities, it's definitely something that we have to strive to do more of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, you have technical data sheets on your products, both your grading protection and your toe board protector. Where would people be able to find these technical notices? Say they're working for a company and they found them in the toolbox and they're like, hey, these look really cool, but I don't know anything about them. What can people do? How can they outsource the technical notice if it's not attached directly to the object?
Yeah, good question. Actually, it's a really good one. We didn't speak about that earlier, so I'm glad you're adding that in there. The ropesedge.ca, can we see it here? It's
Briefly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
ropesedge.ca is where you can find those. You could also go to access-anywhere.ca and get the technical data sheets from either of the websites. And you can also purchase on both websites still at this moment. But yeah, ropesedge.ca, technical notice, and read them. Please read them.
How important is it for new technicians to read these technical notices? It seems like a pretty easy device to use, but leaving the smoke and mirrors to the side, actually, how important is it to sit down and actually read it and thoroughly understand these technical notices?
Yeah, I'll be totally frank with you, Mikey. It's imperative. There's so many different things. All this is. There's nothing overly complicated about the device. It's quite literally a chunk of plastic that happens to be engineered. It creates a 3 times bend radius edge. It has a 100% locking mechanism. It gives you a little accessory cord for carrying. But point being is that it's imperative. You read your descent device manufacturer specs. You read your rope, your harness, all of the specifications. This is nothing. Like it's not a rated piece of a device. It doesn't have CSA, ANSI, any of these things, but it still needs to be used properly. So understanding how your gear works, it's imperative. So yeah, it's very important.
Especially us working in a unique environment, Canada specifically, right? We have temperature differences of 80, 90 degrees, going from 40 degrees Celsius to minus 50 degrees Celsius up north. So knowing and understanding the strengths, weaknesses, and limitations of each piece of equipment that is currently on your harness is, I believe, very very important.
Crucial, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a piece of gear in your harness that you kind of sort of think is cool and you kind of sort of mostly know how it works, but then you use it in an application that isn't really suitable, backup devices with shock absorbing lanyards, there are certain requirements for use or limitations of use. Actually, if you don't use it properly, you're not fully understanding of what's going to happen in the event of an error or a misuse. So yeah, full understanding is imperative. One of the things, if I could add here, is on the direction pull with this one. This one's very easy to install, but if you install it on on the wrong side of the grating that you intend to pull, you could inadvertently slide the device, right?
Right. Okay.
As if you install it leaning up against something, you have a combination of strength of the device, strength of the grating. Inspection's already been done on the grating, right? So having a very clear understanding of how it's designed to be used, you got to be doing that.
Yeah, you got to be assessing that risk of the potential misuse of the equipment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've spent a lot of time looking at investigating, doing your research on rope protection to get to where you are today. And then, going to the depths of making technical data sheets for your devices.
Mm-hmm.
Is a rope seminar something that you would be interested in doing a seminar on rope protection in the future?
Yeah, 100%. Again, Mikey, to just spread the knowledge and information, and even to be corrected, I might, I'm not going to have all the answers. Other people are going to, to bring a collective audience into a room or a Zoom call, we can bring people together right now to bring everybody into these conversations. That's how we expand the knowledge. That's how we develop the knowledge. And that's how we kick the can a little bit further down the hallway, right?
Right.
So yeah, Mikey, if seminars come up, yeah, I'd be more than happy to be involved.
Yeah, because you've spent an excessive amount of time understanding and learning what you've learned today to develop the devices that you have. So understanding, what is actually smoke and mirrors and what is actually effective rope protection in different circumstances, I suspect. So, that would be awesome to kind of have something put together to, move forward and maybe make a seminar out of it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I like it.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to chat about, or
no? I think that's
you need
pretty
to
good, man.
touch base on?
Appreciate that you're doing this. Podcasts are a way to go. Everybody's going to be sitting on their phones these days and puttering around the house, doing some different things. So nice work on what you're doing. Keep it up. I look forward to hearing, more of the same and different conversations and just expanding that community, expanding the conversation, and just keeping it going. So nice work. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I think this professional development conversation is far from over. I think that this is only a start to what we could kind of, fester, if you will, with this topic. Just because it's something that for me is very important, and I really want to see what everyone else's perspective is. And by meeting up with you and chatting with you and other individuals and just trying to get their perspective and what would be a valuable topic to put together stuff, I think it would be very helpful. So like I said again, thank you very much for your time. Before we get going though, where can people track you down? Where can people find you?
Ropesedge.ca, just info@ropesedge.ca. You guys can find me on, Ropes Edge, on Instagram, Facebook. We're there. LinkedIn as well. You can find me there. Just more, we'll post these things, Mikey, and I implore everybody to just engage in the conversation, whether it's online or, just calling me up. Give me a call. I'm happy to talk about rope access or edge management or, a project that you're working on, that you have some issues with and you're just not really sure how to move forward with it. So feel free to get at me. The company phone number is on all of those platforms as well. So anytime.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to doing this again with you.
Yeah, me too, Mikey. Take care, man. Have a great day.
Cheers. Bye. Well, Dirk, thank you very much for chatting to us today about your company and your perspective on professional development. I think this topic is extremely important because we have a massive inconsistency between levels and between the people within those levels. I think professional development is something that we can use to better suit our industry and narrow that gap. If you think professional development in the rope access industry is important, please comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Don't forget to follow Ropes Edge on Facebook and Instagram. Please like and subscribe if you like this edition of the Rope Access and Climbing Podcast. I have plenty more episodes coming your way over the next few weeks, so stay tuned.